Well, happy Monday and welcome to ATI Pro Media. Quick start to the week, right? We had tariffs put on Colombia, right? They weren't willing to take a certain amount of migrants deportation, but as Lee Corso would say, not so fast. They agreed to the deal. Tariffs are put on hold. Someone needs to tell the corn and soybean market that we're not seeing it, so they can bounce back as we go. So other news, right? We got the Chiefs in the Super Bowl again, right? Congratulations if you're a Chiefs fan. I was pulling for the Bills, but I got to tell you, Mahomes, they're inevitable. They can't be beat. So other than that, we got to talk a little bit about AI. Some interesting headlines coming out there, coming out of China. With that, we'll look at fund positioning and anything else you want to talk about, right? Pop a question. We'll be more than happy to talk about it. And we'll see what my co-host Brady Huck wants to talk about as well. He is in Kansas. But as far as I know, right, Brady, you are a Broncos fan. You're on that side of Kansas, right?
Well, it's difficult to be a Broncos fan ever lately, but if I was to pick a team, it might be the Broncos. So a lot of Chiefs fans around me. It's good to see success, but sometimes I don't know. Is there such thing as too much success? Are we at that point there? I don't know.
I think I was sure rooting for the Bills, but
Yeah, it is what it is.
oh well, it is what it is. Yep.
Let's
Well,
dive
of
into your
course.
markets. I'll quote us up here.
Yep.
We got a healthy pullback, as one might say. March corn down 6 3/4, 479 3/4. Looking over at KC wheat. No, let me get my quotes right. March beans down 11 cents, 10.44 3/4. Oils down 40 points, meals down 4.30. Chicago wheat's down 9 1/4, 5.34 3/4. KC wheat, March KC wheat down 8 cents, 5.51 1/2. Looking over at your livestock cattle market, feeders are up a buck on the front month. Live cattle up 92 points. Lean hogs up 30 points in Feb. April contract up $1.77. Nice to see lean hogs on the move higher. Crude oil is a little weaker, down 20 points. Diesel's down 5 cents. Nat gas down 29 cents on February, 19 cents on the March. Your Dow, looking over at the macro market, the equities, Dow's down 100 points. The S&P down 100 as well. NASDAQ down 600 points on the NASDAQ. Bitcoin's down 3,000, knocking on that $100,000 level. Gold's weaker, silver's weaker. Cotton's up. And I threw this one on there. Coffee is a little softer as well, down 50 points. Interesting. Healthy pullback, Connor B. Healthy
pullback. I like that. I would have thought maybe coffee would have taken it more on the chin, but and that's a mark. If we look back on 2024, right, it was like coffee, cocoa, gold. Those were the commodity winners. So yeah, interesting to see. Well, let's dive into it, right?
Yeah, coffee is one of those essential commodities, I would like to say. And definitely an essential commodity.
Right. Absolutely. Well, first thing, let's get the flash sale out of the way. Right. We'll take it. 139,000 metric ton corn sold to Mexico. And so I think I feel like the theme, I saw this, I can't remember where I was reading it. It was the term headline risk, right? Because I feel like that's what with this news about Colombia tariffs, right? We talked about tariffs with Mexico and Canada. That was Feb 1st, right, Brady? So that's within a week, right? If we're going to see something. But also, I think the groundwork's been set that where, just the threat of tariffs, right? Talking about it is, maybe we don't see tariffs. It's very much, it's going to be interesting. But headline risk is on, and that's the big one. U.S. Colombia reach deal on deportations, tariff sanctions put on hold. So the story was that we were on the brink of a trade war, ready for putting on tariffs because Colombia was not ready to accept military flights carrying deportees as part of President Trump's sweeping immigration crackdown. Reading that from Reuters. So with the tariffs put on, then we kind of saw a flip. They decided to accept any type of deported immigrants. Tariffs are put on hold. And so now we go from here. So it was very quick, right? It happened last night. But yeah, so we saw the overnight, we opened lower. We're still kind of holding, near those lows. But yeah, what a
I like how you opened there and said that somebody needs to tell the grain market, somebody needs to tell the corn market that the tariffs are on hold because they're not bouncing back like you think we would want them to after that type of headline. So yeah, the headlines, they come and they go though, and it just seems like we're back in that environment where we're a tweet away from something changing, and they're going to come, they're going to go, and there's going to be a lot of uncertainty and headline risk, like you said. That's some good point.
And when we think of, we don't talk about Colombia a whole lot, right? We're talking Brazil, Argentina, China, Mexico, but Colombia is the number three biggest corn buyer, Brady.
Okay.
I mean, had a big rant. I think they broke records last year in terms of how much corn they were buying from the U.S. So in our world, right, it could have been a big deal. Now who knows, right? Put on hold. So, and then now we're on to the next one, right? What are we going to see as far as Canada and Mexico? Those are going to be the big ones next.
Definitely, yeah. So those we've thrown out the date of February 1st for implementing some tariffs on Canada, Mexico, and China. We'll see how that unfolds. That's Saturday. February 1st is Saturday coming up here. So a lot of pieces of the puzzle going to play out here this week. Who knows what this week's going to bring from a macro market geopolitical headline standpoint, Connor. Buckle
Absolutely.
up. Buckle up.
That's the truth. That's the truth. Because when we hear tariffs, right, everyone remembers 18 tariffs on China, $7 soybeans or whatever that cash price was in your area. But I don't know. I think we've set the groundwork to where just because we're talking about tariffs, it doesn't mean they have to be implemented, right?
True.
Is it as much as anything is just getting someone to come to the table? But
posturing, right?
Time will tell. Buckle up.
Seems like there's like a ton of posturing headlines. Yep. One good thing I saw from ATI Research put out that 112 million bushels of U.S. corn sales are actually shipped to Colombia. We've seen those flash sales pop up here over the last 3, 4, 5 months, and I think they're about a 250 million bushel annual corn market. But we've got 112 shipped with 50 million bushels unshipped. So it's good to have them out the door and shipped there. You can't cancel something that's already been delivered. I don't know if we have a free return policy on sending that grain back, but bright side. And I don't know how much is actually shipped to Mexico as well. Mexico is a huge piece of the corn import piece on U.S. corn, exported corn from the U.S. How much is actually shipped there, been delivered? But nonetheless, I mean, just the sentiment of tariffs and trade and these different agreements and threats of backing out, threats of tariffs, that's going to weigh on the future and where the funds want to be and how they want to be positioned in your commodity markets. Is just that sentiment of what's going to happen. May not be an immediate effect, but down the road, how it all plays out, huge.
Yep. And never forget that with futures markets, right, we trade emotions, because what changed today from Friday on paper? Nothing, right? We just had the headline, and then we kind of had the headline taken off. But guess what? It's got a few people spooked. We got corn down 7, soybeans down 11, wheat down 11 as well. So,
hey, but grand scheme of things, March corn still up about 20 cents from the turn of the calendar year, December 31st. We're 458 when we closed out December 31st trade. 479 on March corn board, still up 20 cents. Connor B.
Good point.
Looking at bean markets, I think we're up about 30, 35, maybe 40 cents from the turn of the calendar year. So still, is it just a healthy pullback, Connor? Maybe.
Time will tell. Well, other thing we had Friday, we had cattle on feed and we had commitment of traders. You want to jump in to give us a quick rundown on cattle on feed?
Yeah, pretty bullish. Supportive placements came in lower than a lot of the analysts were pegging or estimating. But futures had a heck of a day on Friday, too. They just had a heck of a week last week on both cattle and on the feeder on the fat side of things. So how much is actually priced into the market? We know a lot of the story. But yeah, the board's reacting well today, especially considering the weight in the stock market. But the placement surprise was the big thing. Got another big report this Friday with the annual. It's not a biannual anymore because they didn't do the July one.
I was going to say they got rid of that.
It's out. Elon and Vivek didn't even have to cut it. The USDA just
was
did their
before
own.
then, yeah.
Yeah. So, but big inventory report this Friday that people going to be looking at the size of the beef cow herd and how many replacement heifers have been held back for breeding purposes. The cattle on feed report didn't show much earth-shattering with the steer heifer mix that we get in the quarterly report, but I don't know. I think it's maybe a little misleading here with some of the spayed heifer stuff on there. I think guys are holding back more replacements. That's just my personal opinion and my hunch. Going forward in the cattle market, though, Connor, we got to watch the the retail beef side of things. What's the cutout doing? Packers aren't printing money. They're not making money with it. They're just filling orders and keeping the supply chain moving. The cutout sold off $3 last Friday. A lot of volatility there. Be interesting to see how it all plays out. So little euphoric though, Connor. Little euphoric.
Sure. And I mean, talk about euphoria. Look at fund position, right?
Wow.
We're in uncharted territory, and getting very. I'm assuming 1819 was a record long. So getting close to a record long live cattle position. Is that correct?
I think so. I would have to go back to the stat book and look, but yeah, definitely looks like we're nearing that record long position, and the fundamental side of the story definitely supports it. But how long can it hold in there? Look at that cliff of a sell-off when the funds decide they want to get out. Look out.
Here. So I'm in Central Illinois, and I show my ignorance sometimes on cattle. But being in Central Illinois, I compare everything to the corn market, right? And so when I look at this, you know what's interesting to me, Brady, is how rare it is that funds go short cattle, right? It's a very consistent long position going back to 5-6 years.
Yep, on the live cattle, funds rarely go short on live cattle. We've seen it there in 2019-20 timeframe. They blipped on the negative side for the net position, but on feeders, it's different. They'll actually go short on feeders. But yeah, it's not used to what we're looking at from a managed money position in a commodity.
Because here's corn, right? We're continue to add to fund longs, and I think that's the fear, I guess, definitely for me is that what if we see a catalyst? How ready and how violent can funds turn? If they decide to sell off, how violent a downturn could we see? And so, but yeah, very very friendly company up there, right? 2020, 2021, we'll take it. But yeah, time will tell, right? Funds are still very bullish. They added to their length. And we'll see where they go, right? This week feels important to me in terms of fund positioning. The next 2 weeks, we're really going to see, that Brazil soybean crop. We're going to continue seeing them planting that safrinha crop. We're going to look at the headline risk, and time will tell.
Yep. I was talking to Brian Basting last week when we did that premium content episode, and we were just reminiscing about a year ago how the sentiment was completely the opposite as we were coming into March options expiring. That February timeframe was just a depressing low point for a lot of U.S. producers out there. Those were the phone calls I would get at that time frame where a guy was calling and saying, Brady, why didn't you tell me to sell 2 months ago, 3 months ago? You got to be on me. Help me with my marketing going forward this year. That was that time frame. And here we are, kind of opposite. Had a nice run here this month, and good to see some upside here. But when you get in this inverted market where March corn's at 480 and Dece corn's at 455, that's a very difficult market to go out and proactively get control of next year because of that inverse. It just does this mental block on a guy of 450 is not good enough. We're at 480 today. Tough market to kind of go out and do some things mentally in.
It is, and it's a good testament to where we're all creatures of habit, right? We stick to what worked maybe the previous year, but the right marketing plan. We got to be consistent year in, year out, right? Now, obviously, last year, if we would have sold all our corn on Jan 1st, we'd be sitting pretty good. This year, who knows, right? Time will tell. But you drive yourself crazy if you're trying to, right? If you try to time this market, right?
Yeah.
So, hey, last topic I had, it's something that we're very much experts on, right? You and I, when people think of AI, they think Connor Bridgman, Brady Huck, but
obviously. Mostly because of the lack of natural intelligence. Maybe that's
there you go. There you go. Well, DeepSeek, right? I'd be lying if I said I heard of DeepSeek before yesterday, but we're seeing China really get into the big AI, and then it's a low-cost Chinese artificial intelligence model, and it casts doubts on Western companies' dominance in this sector, Reuters reports. So the main thing is we saw, as you quoted up, the NASDAQ, the S&P were down, but NVIDIA, I think we got a nice chart that shows it, is just these AI stocks really took it on the chin, right? Nvidia, especially Microsoft down, ASML, really seen them dropping. And I saw it being compared. Reuters drew comparisons to the space race, right? They're calling this deep seek like China's Sputnik, where we could see that AI race. And so it's interesting to see. I have no idea in terms of where AI is going in the next few years, right? Or let alone even the next few weeks. But talk about something that could change our life, could completely disrupt a lot of things. And now we're seeing China come to the table and see the two comparisons. So interesting to see.
Definitely, yeah. Big, fast-moving sector of our world, our lives, and going to be game changer going forward. Looking at how we use AI, how it comes into our lives, impacts our daily lives, and if you can leverage it. You and I as brokers, how are we leveraging AI, and how does it help us do our jobs better as a farmer, producer out there? What are you using AI for? Different, exciting stuff. I like the comparison to the space race. We need something to be excited about going forward. Maybe AI is that thing, gets us excited about life going forward. I like it.
It could be. Well, I know who's not excited is anyone that's got a big position in Nvidia, really taking it on the chin. But I got a feeling if you invested it a couple of years ago, you're still on top, given what it's done the past couple of years. So,
Yeah,
all right. Well,
good
what else
stuff.
we got, Brady?
Oh, I think we ought to get on out of here and take care of
Yep.
our customers' positions. We got some markets moving. Maybe that corn market will bounce back here today. We shall see. Keep your head on a swivel for that headline risk. I love what you said there about headlines. They come and they go. We'll see which ones stick around this week and which ones are out the door.
Absolutely. All right. Everyone have a great day. See you.